Hello YouTube, Futurist Gamer here. Today is going to be my 10 subscriber special, so I got a treat for you. Holodecks, the Star Trek fan's dream. A complete and accurate simulation of real life down to an atomic level in a computer simulation. Now we have these now, just not as big. That's the main issue. It's called a chromodynamic quantum lattice simulation. What that means is basically it is accurate down to a subatomic level. We can simulate atoms with this, but anything bigger than that, and we cannot support it on any known computer we have. So, in theory, we can get it done easily with what we have, except for not as big. We have the programming, we have the software, we have what we need, we know how to make materials from atoms, obviously, so the issue is processing power, and with Moore's Law we're going to achieve the capability of doing so really quickly, although it could still take a while. It's going to get closer and closer really quickly once we get over the curve. So, we'll see. Now, according to Moore's Law, processing power of computers doubles once every 18 months. A good chart of this, to example, in 10 years time, it's going to be 1,000 times more powerful than it would at the very beginning. So assume we have 1 now. Assume the representation of all processing power we have is 1. Double that and you have 2. By the end of this decade, we're going to multiply 32 times. By the next decade. Then we are going to have it almost 1,000 times. After that, 1,000,000, then 1,000,000,000, then 1,000,000,000,000 and quadrillion. Every decade, add another set. It will add up way quicker, so much so that we can't accurately predict what life will be like. The more life is integrated into information technology, and once the 5G standard is released, then that's going to be pretty much everything, the Internet of Things. Everything's going to be information technology. Everything's going to be linked to this fundamental law of computing. And when we have that, that's a pretty big deal. That means everything is going to be affected by this. So we can't accurately predict what there will be like in 40 years, because it's quadrillions of times more powerful than the computers we have in now, and it's integrated into everything. Can you really predict that? Not to mention we can build things. 3D printers are affected by Moore's Law now. We simply need more processing power and more manufacturing capabilities, which we are obtaining. So it's a bit different with 3D printers, but essentially the detail that we can make something and the scale of it for the price is the Moore's Law. That's the curve. So really, really quickly soon we're going to end up with materials. We're going to be able to print stuff that's incredibly complex and intricate down to a quantum level. Now, that's impressive. When we can manipulate the quantum level, we can make amazing effects go on. Superconductivity, superposition, entanglement. All of these things are attainable by quantum mechanics, and if we can manipulate things on a quantum scale, we can use all of these. It's pretty amazing. It's hard to think about because it's on a scale way beyond us. You have to think for a long time, think well and hard before you can even come close to really seeing this. But think about it. The scale on the macro side, how big we can make them, means we can 3D print buildings down to the individual atoms. Eventually we're going to be able to build things the size of Death Stars down to the quantum scale. And the speed they're doing this is ridiculous. So, when we have that, we've got the singularity, which by this time our minds are going to be immersed with technology, which is necessary to even comprehend this when you're inside of the singularity. The singularity is a point where technology increases so fast that the only way you could even notice something is going on, the only way you could even comprehend the change, is by integrating this moving technology, a hardware that could recreate itself, improve itself, integrate it into your own mind. You can do that, That is when you are capable of understanding it, and that is called a singularity. So, when you have complete access to things with your mind, an ever-expanding and a ridiculous pace of these ridiculous amount of processing power and ways to do with it with the printing, you can create things at a whim, fast, at an insane amount of speed. You have the processing power to create and maintain environments in the digital realm down to a subatomic, down to a quantum scale. It's hard to comprehend. It really is, and this is our future. This is what we're working on. It's not flying saucers. It's not, well, with these giant skyscrapers, we're building a space elevator, but it's not what we would think. It's more so a self-integrated, the future of tomorrow that we really have coming for us. It's technology, it's information, it's integrating ourselves with computers and increasing them at a relentlessly increasing pace until they plateau, and then what? Then we start manipulating reality itself. According to Kardashev's scale, there's 1 through 3 so far that we know of civilizations. Class 1 is planetary. All the energy of an entire planet is controlled. Type 2 is stellar. The entire energy of an entire solar system. The entire star is completely contained and used. That is a class 2. That would be Star Trek. There's the civilization there is type 2. Then there's galactic. All of the stars and the black holes and all the energy within an entire galaxy is consumed, used, and utilized. It's hard to comprehend when you think about it that way. Star Wars doesn't really seem that over-realistic. I mean, we could attain that much quicker than 3 years, 3000. We're going to surpass that way much. But the point is, the energy is what truly matters. Type 3. That's going to be a well away. We're supposedly using trends of what we're going at now. We're not going to hit class 3 till year 1 billion. As what we are at now, that would be 0.7, roughly. That's what we're estimated to be at. We have not yet contained the power in a single planet. But we will. We're eventually going to maintain an entire galaxy. And you're going to see it. You need to see the longevity, escape velocity. Apparently this is gaining momentum as we speak, which it really needs to. The more support this gets, the quicker this is going to be, the more people can be saved from this deadly epidemic that we call age. We're not seeing this as a problem. We need this to be. There's been endless casualties before, and we are on the cusp of curing it. And yet, there's so little. As big as this is, everyone on Earth should know about this, and I want to spread it. So, whenever you think of anything being centuries in the future, don't think of it as, oh, I'm never going to see it. It's not going to matter to me anyway. The world's going to die in 1 billion years. Bah, who cares? You should care, because you're going to see anything. Assuming you live to these next 20 years, assuming you hit LEV, everything's going to change. You will see everything. And not only that, we're not even limited to the end of the universe, because we hit class 3 by the time we hit 1 billion years. The end of the stellar age is several trillion. We're going to easily be able to leave this universe. If such a thing is possible, we will be able to do it. If it isn't, probably make it. We could manipulate the fundamental laws of physics, so I'm pretty sure something like that wouldn't be very hard. Or at least completely overclocking our entire processor so it doesn't really matter anymore. Your mind is connected to a planet-sized computer. You could easily overclock it at a ridiculous pace so that every second at an insane level of intelligence we couldn't even comprehend, you could do it at well above average intelligence. Every second you'd experience billions of years. So, you're going to utilize this time pretty darn well. So, when we hit class 3, what we need for holodecks is an insane amount of processing power, right? Well, let me tell you a little thing called Graham's number. This is going to be close to the power of an interconnected network of planetary computers. Computers so powerful, their actual processors are smaller than atoms. And they are built to the point where they are the size of planets. Earth-sized computers. And there's going to be thousands of these dotted all around the galaxy, and probably in other galaxies as well. So, we have these computers, but they're light years away, so it doesn't really matter. They can't really interconnect. Wrong. Quantum communication. We've already done this. We can instantaneously, zero time in between, bypassing the laws of light, entangle two particles, so when one moves, the other moves. Instantaneously. So, we can do that. We got complete and instant communication between these insanely powerful computers. I haven't even explained their power yet. It's not comprehensible by common terms. I couldn't write down the number of hertz. It is the thing. They'd be well beyond zeta scale. Example, where in tera scale goes byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte, exabyte, yottabyte, then zettabyte. These are enormous processing units, and we've blown past those millennia before we hit these planetary computers. So, these computers are so powerful, there's just one number called Graham's number. It is the largest number that has any practical use. It is a number so large it can only be expressed logically by an algorithm. If you were to write it out, if you were to actually write it out, if you were to turn every atom on Earth into a digit of a number, i.e. one digit is 1, 2 digits would be like 11. Every atom on Earth were a digit. You could not write out Graham's number. This would be roughly the power of this collective internet of these planet-sized computers. A holodeck is completely feasible, and every human on Earth that just exists past this point and more, because we're going to keep reproducing, we're just not going to die, are going to likely have one of these. Because we can make them, we just need the matter. And it doesn't even have to be silicon. It can be any matter, because we can rebuild atoms at this point. It's the energy. So yeah, not much more to say at this point. Holodecks? That ain't sci-fi. Realistically, nothing is. Break that barrier in your mind. Science fiction? Take off the fiction. It's science. Time travel? Science. It's not fiction. So, hope you enjoyed this. My 10 subscriber special. Not a big accomplishment, but I'm not a big YouTuber, so this is enormous for me. Thanks everyone out there. I've got tons of views, and this is really big for me. Love you all. Futures Gamer, signing off.